Welcome to Croptastic, the podcast by InnerPlant. This is part of our new season that includes video, and we're very lucky today to be joined by InnerPlant's transformation team. Sharon and Ramtin, will you guys please introduce yourselves?
My name is Ramtin, Ravanfar. I'm head of transformation at InnerPlant, and I joined InnerPlant since September 2019. And before that, I was working at University of Florida. And the reason that I moved here in InnerPlant because the idea, it was really interesting for me. Before that, I generated a lot of transgenic with different crops. But this one that you can detect the transgenic plants in the field was very interesting. And that's why I joined InnerPlant.
I'm Sharon Radke, and I work in the transformation group at InnerPlant. I started working here in 2021. And before that, I worked for many years in plant biotechnology and working on transformation.
At InnerPlant, we're designing plants that can signal when they're under stress. But it's a lot more complicated than just growing the plant that you want. You have to design the plant, and the transformation process is an important part of that. Walk me through what the transformation process really is.
When you want to insert a desired trait into a plant, you go through a process of isolating the gene and putting that gene, the DNA, into a vector that can transfer into the plant cells.
We started with the seed. First, we split the seed for dissecting the embryo.
We can use a plasmid that contains the gene that we want to insert into the plant cells. And then we go through a process in tissue culture where we regenerate those cells into a whole plant.
After transformation that we showed you, that how we inoculate the embryo. This is the next step after that. After transformation, we transfer or transplant the explants in this selection medium or regeneration medium, and then elongation, rooting, and finally soil. So we consider these shoots as a transgenic shoots, which is really high, actually. And the good points of our team or transformation, we increase the transformation frequency from 3 to 4%, from 3 to 4% to 50% transformation frequency, which is very high. Here is the last step of tissue culture and transformation. After we select the transgenic one and stay enough tall, we can transplanting to the soil.
Can you share what do you love? What gets you into plant transformation? What gets you up every morning?
Well, I guess I love plants, and I do gardening at home and vegetable gardening and flower gardening. But I like when you put a desired gene into a plant and you can regenerate a plant and have it express that trait. That I find that pretty exciting. I like to see progress made on and within the company of improving what we're trying to do. It takes a lot of testing and a lot of repetitive work, but when you get something, it's pretty exciting.
That's what I love about talking to people in the science team is from the outside it looks really hard and it looks like a lot of work. And it's pretty quiet, right? Lab, it's pretty quiet. But then to hear you guys talk about it, you bring this passion for why you do what you do. How about you, Ramtin? Do you have a?
So yeah, I started for tissue culture and transformation since 2007 when I got master and PhD. What was interesting for me, always when you can, as Sharon again said, that's the new trait that resistant to heat, resistant to diseases. And here is at InnerPlant also. These plants that we are working here, it's the interesting thing, it's recalcitrant crops, soy and corn are very difficult. So when we can generate the events that resistant to diseases or the sensor can induce by different certain of stresses, it's really interesting. And yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
Well, I think that'll do it for this episode of Croptastic. Thank you again to Sharon and Ramtin from the Transformation team for joining us today. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments below, and of course, give us a like on Twitter or on LinkedIn. And thanks for joining us. We'll be back with more inside look at InnerPlant with the next episode. Thanks so much.